Well, ladies and gentlemen, I'd like to introduce our next act, and it is the lovely Vince Pointer. Now, Vince is going to give us some observational comedy, ladies and gentlemen, his own flavour of comedy, putting Frank Carson to shame. Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome to the stage, it's Vince, all the way from Southampton.
Hello. Hello. Works. Hello, how are you all? Great. Oh, good. Excellent. Are you enjoying the ship? Yes. It's a wonderful ship, isn't it? Queen Elizabeth. What a wonderful ship. And a wonderful name as well. In fact, the name's so wonderful, they're actually going to name another ship, the Queen Elizabeth. I don't know if you knew this, but they're going to name an aircraft carrier. The UK government and the Navy have decided to name an aircraft carrier the Queen Elizabeth. So obviously there's going to be no confusion there at all, is there? Well, a bit of the aircraft carrier came out of Portsmouth and went round the North Sea up to Scotland about a week before we sailed. No one told me. All I heard was Queen Elizabeth, North Sea, going from Portsmouth. I thought, change of venue, I'll shoot down there, jumped in the car, got the luggage, shot down there. I went back, picked up the missus, went all the way back down there again, got on board. And I tell you what, I thought to myself, Cunard, you have let yourself down. The service was terrible. They didn't exactly have White Star service. All the guys in green overalls instead. Mind you, the ship-to-shore transfer is very exciting in those jets, and the deck hoists area, magnificent. And but imagine if it was the other way around, and all the jets had come off the aircraft carrier, and it's a bit foggy. Now we know what fog's like, don't we? Planes can't fly in fog, can we? Anyone who joined in Southampton knows that. So I expect what they'll do, they get out there, see a little dot on the horizon, oh, there's the Queen Elizabeth, I'll go and land on her. And they come down and accidentally get on this ship, crashing in on deck 9 on the Lido pool, frightening the one man in the jacuzzi, and there's several women around the outside reading their Barbara Taylor Bradfords. And I reckon that's how the Red Arrows got on board, don't you? Did you see the Red Arrows? Yeah. Oh good, weren't they? I expect you saw them in the grand lobby. I didn't. I caught them in the gents actually. I looked across and I thought, oh, that's why they call you Red 9. And Red 1 was looking a bit embarrassed. It's because it's written on his shoulder, that's why. Anyway, they get to fly these fantastic jets. We don't get to fly jets unless we have to go in these awful commercial liners. Now I know you guys probably don't like these much, which is why you're on a cruise. It's horrible all this travelling around on airlines. For instance, last time I went, we had to have all sorts of restrictions. I couldn't take nail clippers on board. Nail clippers, ridiculous. I couldn't take shampoo on board. I wanted to take a bottle of shampoo and they said, no, it's too much. You can only take 100 millilitres in a little open case. I thought, that's ridiculous. Have you seen the size of a millilitre? Tiny little thing, even when there's 100 of them. It was awful. Mind you, it's not like that on the cruise ships, is it? We take what we want. Back in my cabin, I've got 26 pairs of nail clippers. And I've got a gallon drum, 4-gallon drum of shampoo. Wonderful it is. Head and shoulders, knees and toes is packed with this, man. And I don't even need it, they supply it on board. Ironically in little containers that are less than 100 millilitres. But that's not the worst thing about travelling, is it? The worst thing about travelling is the question you always get right at the beginning. When you go through that terminal, the security, and they say, have you packed your own bags? And you look at them, and you always say yes, don't you? A little bead of sweat there, and the person's the epaulets. And 50% of you are lying, aren't you? And you know which 50% you are? It's the men. Because they haven't packed their bags, have they? It was their wife. Now, you've known this woman for 30 years. You've got children with her, grandchildren. You know that she hardly touches drink. In the last 6 months, she's hardly anything stronger than a wine glass. In the bag, you know that she's packed nothing stronger than Werther's Originals. But right at that moment, when they say, have you packed your bags? You look at them in the eye and you think to yourself, I hope she hasn't packed 3 pounds of raw uncut cocaine in that bag. Of course, in Cunard, you don't get that, do you? They don't ask you that question. It's a silly question, really. Why would they ask a Cunarder that question? I mean, if they said to a Cunarder, have you packed your own bags? They'd get a haughty look. Someone would look down their nose and they'd say, of course not. My butler did it. Thank you.
Ladies and gentlemen, put your hands together for the very lovely Vince Pointer. telling you anecdotes, stories, all about his travels. Ladies and gentlemen, put your hands again. It takes some doing, ladies and gentlemen. Put your hands together for Vince, our comedian of the afternoon.